Hello and welcome as we head into the 15th day of October 2017. My name is Derek. Welcome to a crypto trading video. Everything you do is within your own risk and own reward. As I'm recording this, it is 22 and a half hours, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the 14th day. And when I'm looking at the 60-minute time frame on the Bitcoin chart, and let's just assume I'm trying to find an image that I could use when I talk about breakout patterns, ascending triangles, and well, this is a beautiful looking situation right now, at least as I'm seeing it. The market on its huge move bursting through the 5,000s, as I stated it probably would do and such, had this very beautiful pullback to 54. It has not since tested that level. The best test since has been 55, as it has been making higher lows along the way. Boom, 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 and again. I guess if there's going to be another one, where would I expect it to be? In between here and here. But throwing that aside, resistance level established a little bit in here, a little bit in here. This was low, but a little bit of resistance in here, which of course it's gotten just past that one. So this little double hit area, which was not in that place or price target for long durations of time, has had now, it's on its third period, 2.5 hours now, of just doing this little sideways motion. So if you're looking at a chart like this, if you shorten the time frame out significantly, you know you're going to see a beautiful uptrend that has had some nice further continuation that's going to also look bullish. I can tell just by looking at that. I haven't looked at like a 5 or 15 minute time frame. 5 minutes is what I'll be needing to look for in a long time. So let's take a look at that now, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And what we've seen, this is the gaze starting from 2100 to 22, and its sideways correction that it has had. Support found at 57.60. Resistance here once found at around 57.60. So it's already came back to where it is came from. 18 average, which had this correctionary time going a little south, and I mean just a little south, and for a little bit grinding lower for a short period of time. And now since then, of course, upwards hit. How has it been supporting or playing within this level after this breakout? It has been supporting it for every single period. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 or so, which states in the last hour or so, it's been holding the upper part of the very short term very, very well. It tells me there's a decent chance compared to that of random chance that it's going to most have a good short soon breakout past this level, which would be pretty big when we're looking, of course, at the other chart. Because on a break of this kind of resistance, I would expect a decent size push, probably at least about a $200 move, and probably under a couple of hours. And then further extension after that would not surprise me. Let's go to the daily chart. And when I look at this situation with green candle after green candle, there has not been really anything really of a down day since here. Maybe this was down a fraction in here, but that doesn't really count. Every day has been up for, well, since little 4,200 or so. And now you're in an area where you're supposed to find resistance. Where is that number at? Some decently sized area above this area, and that's where we're definitely at. And when markets get well extended, you're going to have all these other indicator oscillators and magnifiers and bibba ballers, and the last two are all fictitious, but there's so many indicators that will say, oh, this market's way oversold or way overbought. And yeah, that's what they're saying right now. And I don't need to look at it. I guess I have the indicator too. When it's well extended from an 18 average of highs like that, that indicates to me that it's well overbought. And when I see straight up action, it's very easy for eyesight to tell me the same things as it was to tell me this was oversold back in here. I also realize that when you get to an area where you're supposed to have something like such happen, in this case it's overbought, it's way higher, bullishly or bearishly it has to go down. Because bullishly, okay, you've went up a lot, let's pull back down. Perfect places, the two always easiest ones are where it came from, and in the way I do my study, the 18 average. Those are the places I'm looking for on any kind of good correction. It can happen through price by going down lower, or by time, meaning markets just go sideways for enough of a duration so that it catches up. And that's what we would need for a correction at an area where you're supposed to have it. If you do not enter parabolic, enter hog wild, enter OMG, things usually go relatively extreme. So I want to say that in a nice calmish kind of manner, that if you do, like I stated before, it could even rip through many areas of the 6,000s. When I was looking at my analysis from before, which was just back in here, really, I was thinking, oh my goodness, this thing looks ready to break out. It's probably going to have that, like I stated, that huge breakthrough 5,000s. I was trying to even determine, like, even 6,061 up to about 64 to 66 is where I think a good area target could be. And when I do the daily time frame Fibonacci upside calculation based on this high and this low, well, that even works out to about 6,800. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's really got two ways of getting there if that's what's going to happen. So one being your traditional, like I state, do sideways for a bit, develop a trading area, maybe between like 51 and 59 or something like that. Do some sort of correction and then bring your bull market back in place, and then that'll work. Or we're going to have none of that, and it's just going to keep going higher, and it probably would make a move closer to 7,000 than, well, 6,000. And most likely in like anywhere between 6 hours to 3 or 4 days in that time range. It wouldn't take long at all, I don't think, because when an area that's not supposed to be an area that's supposed to be resistance is not in such, expect the next area to happen and come to play very fast. That's how I analyze these markets. Okay, let's move on to Litecoin. And within this, to say that the 0.01 number is a huge area would be an understatement, as since it first hit the area of 0.02, it managed to hit it twice in here. So from the first hit, it rallied pretty nicely, definitely enough for a very good trade, and then back down to its area. Not as good of availability profit, but it came back to this congestion area really fast. And then a third hit down towards this area, and this one, magnificent trading opportunities presented itself. Comes back down again in here, presenting wonderful trade opportunities afterwards. And then again, and you've been able to at least get something now. Will the question become, will you get more? And what does this mean for the market as it plays through? Well, the strengthening level of this is more such. I am looking to see how well of a move it's going to have, but more importantly, as I was stating, when the market was coming down here, I thought this was a good buy spot. Because anytime you come to a very key level, and like this is big, yes, and you were off of a good rally from the last time you were there, both for price and duration and time, which is the case, then I'm going to expect at least a half decent rally. Normally, I would expect it to come back to its previous congestion point. And of course, that's in where I circled, which is starting at the bottom range at a little south of the 0.013 number. Right now, of course, at 0.0115. we'll just say 115 handle for easy number's sake. So therefore, if it's going to make any type of move within this 18 average and break free, because it looks like it's possibly attempting to do so, we'll shorten up the time frame, that any type of leg higher from this type of pattern would most likely take us towards this key point. That will be an area where I will be having sell orders in place, because right now I'm having a hard time trusting altcoins in this bear market right now. But I also realize that this market is in a sideways consolidation period, and the 13 handle is still very much, well, it's below the halfway point of it. So it's not like it's your greatest sell opportunity. And I want to be very much long for Litecoin, and I didn't sell too much of it when I was selling for pretty much the month of October, as I think Litecoin has a lot of good potential as we move forward, but everything that I am selling this month, or a lot of the codes that I do like, I'm selling because I think I get them back later, a lot of times for cheaper prices, especially with the strategy to get free Bitcoin gold by holding Bitcoin. But yeah, 13, definitely going to want to sell some. See, the plan would be to sell it in here and then make a decision on, well, basically buying back again at the 10 number. As long as it keeps working, keep that in place. Let's take a look at this on a more shorter term time frame. And it's a very interesting manifestation for what's coming into play since this decline, as it corrected it through time in here. But obviously we see this wild rally higher, going from 112 back down to 104. What's the difference on that? About 8 points or so. So it's almost 8% just from here to here. Wild volatility. The move from even this low to this high is going from about 104 almost to about 117, 13 basis points. So you're looking at about 12%. So there's a lot of these big moves that are occurring within such. But within these movements, we are seeing that after the sellers have been coming in, buyers bringing it back up every time, as you have, well, this one in here was brought up, but this one in particular, nice move higher, sells it down pretty relatively harsh, and it's bought back up. Nice, beautiful rally in here, sold back down the 18 average of lows, and now over the last two periods, so over the last hour and 3/4 at least, it's managed to make it now back to this upper end. So resistance established in here, which coincides with this level in here. So then breaking through this, you would at least expect it to break past this congestion period. We already talked about that 130 handle, which is basically where I would expect it to go to. So let's take a look at this on a 4-hour chart. Okay, so within we see how it's come back down to this 18 average of highs, looking as if it's ready to break through this, as we were seeing this on the 60-minute time frame. Okay, yep, that would be a potential area. Now, if we do some Fibonacci calculations as far as its upside target, what I can do is I can calculate it from, say, 117 to 109. So let's figure that out and see what comes up. And we're looking at an up target about 122 according to this, which would first make a move up to this little area in here, which is a key congestion area as well. And I'm moving this now to the 1 week chart, and within such, when these cryptos go, they just go. So we see in here, you go from 540 basis points to like 3,000. And even congest into about 1,400, which is still 3 times higher. Not bad of a gain. And here we go from about 310 to 2,200. That's about a 7x gain. And my strategy for really any crypto that I want to hold for large gains, breaking new highs, is to calculate how many do I want to hold within those price target range areas and make sure that I actually have them there when the price goes. Therefore, that means putting sell orders in that area, but it also means when I'm selling south of that point to not run out. For example, let's assume here I'm thinking, well, if this thing goes 7 times higher like it's nothing, and we already know this key 10 number, I want to start selling this aggressively north of the 50 number, 5 to 7x gain. Well, that means I still want to sell lower than that, but everything that I sell below there will be allocated towards such. Now, I don't know what that number is going to be, but I want to make sure that I always have them. And I'm not going to have to wait for some sort of indicator so that I'm always buying just before it happens. For buying here and selling in here, I am fine with doing if I have to live through this kind of stuff. And I realize with what I know is happening in the Bitcoin fork and Bitcoin gold coming into play, that could easily cause these alternate currencies to go down. And I was thinking at the time when on October the 1st, why don't I just sell everything? Literally just sell everything. And there's a part of me that wishes I would have, because my Bitcoin portfolio would be higher. And I also realized by taking that risk that if any type of big move like this is to occur, then I would miss out. And just because this Bitcoin fork is going to happen, if legit reasons occur for coins to go hog wild, haywire, north like no other, it's going to happen. It doesn't care. Oh my goodness, this coin can't go up with this whatever news or whatever's going on with it, because in 15 days from now or something, people are going to want Bitcoin. No, it'll still go much higher. Because the gauge you're talking about getting with Bitcoin golds, maybe 5, 10, 20, 25% is nothing compared to what these gains would be. It's like, oh, I don't care about that. And I realize even within such that these movements can very much still come into play. So it's not really try to calculate exactly and be the best predictor in the world of knowing when the perfect time to buy is, and then knowing when the perfect time to sell is, but realizing that almost all of these are going to go north crazy, and buying early is okay. It's extremely easy to get gains, because if you're in here thinking, you know what, I think this thing is going to go well north of the 10 number, that's your thinking back in here, and then you start selling at this 10 level, you've profited. Okay then, so I'm going to conclude tonight's video. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great night. Bye-bye.